her plans from Soweto to Lagos, Nairobi to the Cape. She's rewriting the stories they said she couldn't shape. Moms rising in Africa.
Lerato Sithole again in conversation with greatness. We continue with Dr. Tracy Mmako. And I want to start this particular part of our conversation, which, by the way, is the last part for now. With the words that says, for every adversity and failure that we face in life, there is a seed of equal or greater benefit.
Yes.
And we can never define the size, the shape, the color of that adversity. It differs for all of us. And sometimes when I sit and hear some of the adversities, I definitely can say that mine are not adverse enough, and I'm not calling for more. But I kind of look at the level of greatness that people like Dr. Tracy carry in their adversities. So welcome again, Dr. Tracy. Thank you for being with us. And before you greet us back, while you're doing that, I want to hear your view about this saying that Napoleon Hill had: for every adversity and failure, there is a equal or better benefit in it.
If we are open to the growth and we keep our hopes alive, then we will get an opportunity to experience that greater seed.
Repeat that if again.
If we are open to that level of adversity and we keep our hopes alive through it, then we will get to experience that seed of greatness that would come from that adversity.
It takes a lot of openness for us to be open.
Yes.
However, I think part of the lot is the conversation that you've shared with us, the level of vulnerability that you've allowed yourself to be in for us.
Yes.
To allow ourselves to be open. Because I think
Absolutely.
I'm more open. I have much more open space to allow that, having
Yes.
listened to what you've been through, which I think is, only God can help us to hold something
Absolutely.
like that. I know I can name some of the seeds that I see from external.
Yes.
Some of the benefits of equal or even greater
Yes.
size that you are holding. You are a specialist neurologist in Mpumalanga, the only one in Mpumalanga. For me, that's a very, very big one.
Yes.
Pretoria has a lot.
Yes.
You happen to hold the whole province.
Exactly.
After all of and you did that, nothing stopped.
Yes,
Life
nothing
continued.
stopped.
Life continued. You've got that. Last year, you launched a foundation, Dr. Tracy Mmako Foundation. You are if I go back to the specialist neurologist, you are one for the private hospital, Mediclinic, and one for Rob Ferreira, which is a public hospital.
Yes.
So I'm naming what I see from externally as
Yes.
the seeds, as the benefit, the evidence of the seeds that have shown benefit, and then you are also a neurodiverse coach,
Yes.
coaching families that are going through neurodiverse
struggles.
challenges, and recently you've authored your book.
Yes.
Which launches on the 10th of May this year,
Yes.
while you celebrate the first year of the launch or the first year of the life of the Dr. Tracy Mmako Mkonza Foundation. So lots of those.
Yes.
And while we were speaking about your life, your journey, all of these things have been happening.
Yes.
And so I'd like to hear about each of them, and just to make sure that, because now I have named the benefits.
Yes.
I've named what you are, over and above being the mother and a friend to your husband, a wife to your husband. So I've seen you guys in action, and one wants to say, yo, if I had a marriage like that, I would love it. But we also need to take the whole package, which I'm sure will make us stop and appreciate what we've got.
Yes.
I want to start by the two, or the one, and that shows up in two ways as a specialist neurologist.
Yes.
What you do every day, and what you wake up to in addition to all the other things that we have been privileged to be invited to in your life.
Yes.
You are a doctor in the private hospital, you're a doctor in the public hospital. Why are you doing both?
I am doing both because I do not believe in a one-sided form of healthcare. So to me, whether you afford to be at Mediclinic or you don't afford to be in Mediclinic shouldn't be a barrier for you to receive this level of care. And in our country, the sheer scarcity of specialists to reach the number of people that are housed by this beautiful country means that some of us at least have to have that selflessness of saying, I will see them whether they have enough money or they don't. So that is the reason why I am still so passionate about the work that I do in the public sector. And added to that, moving to Mpumalanga, I moved there when there had been more than 3 decades of them not having a neurologist. And all the patients who required that level of care needed to be transported to Pretoria. If they were in private, they would be transported from private to another private in Pretoria. If they were patients who were using the government hospital, then they will be transported from one government hospital in Mpumalanga to another government hospital in Pretoria. So going there to that province, I knew that I was going to start something that was never done. And I wanted to be so careful about how I implement that.
Right.
I didn't want it to be that I am unattainable to the people that need me. So obviously, by looking at the colors of our country, we know that it's very few people who can afford private health care. And the majority of our people do not afford it. And just because they don't afford it, it doesn't become less of a right. So I still wanted them to receive the kind of excellent care that I would give elsewhere where people afford.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very passionate about that. To say that even though a person is a pensioner living at a very far removed village in the very rural Mpumalanga,
Yes.
it doesn't mean that he or she doesn't deserve to be seen by a neurologist.
So if I'm in a private hospital, I get a high level of care from a specialist neurologist, and her name is Dr. Tracy. If I go to Rob Ferreira, I also see the same Dr. Tracy
Absolutely.
at the same level,
At the same level.
same quality.
The only difference would be that for the person who is in private health care,
Yes.
they would receive maybe a higher service level in that resources are not limited.
within the hospital.
Within the hospital.
Right, yeah.
So if I wanted an MRI now, I can
Yes.
get it now.
Right, yes.
In
yes.
private. While in government, we have to make do with very little most of the time in order to try and balance the little that is there across a higher number of patients. So in that way, you can see the unequalness of healthcare. The doctors are just as qualified when they are in the government sector as they are when they are in the private sector.
Yes.
However, we are limited by resources in order to do what we can. So you are going to do the best that you can with the resources that you are afforded by the hospital, which is something that is very sad but remains very true. So I still give that service there with the limitations that exist. Those limitations do not deter me. And we are always trying to convince the powers that be that these people deserve a higher level of service. So we are always fighting the good fight, to say, no, for a province that didn't have a neurologist for so many years, I was able to be understood enough for certain things to be bought, even though the people that I was talking to didn't understand what benefit those things are going to give the people of the province. So I also appreciate that about them, the fact that they were willing and open to listen to me as to say, when I want to start a department of neurology, what are the things that I want to put in place? And because those things take time, what happens while you wait says more about you than how long you wait, actually. So I will wait for years, and that waiting is not going to change me into a bad neurologist.
I mentioned you as a specialist neurologist at Rob Ferreira, which is the public hospital, and at Mediclinic. I did leave out your practice.
Yes. So I have a practice at Riverside Medical Center. And there, that's where I see, okay, in addition to seeing my outpatients, but that is also the space that I use to do the neurodiversity coaching for families. And a lot of people, when you talk about neurodiversity coaching, they think that we are only going to restrict our talk to giving guidance and medication for all the diseases that fall under this neurodiversity spectrum. But that is not the only thing that I do. So this hard conversation that I have the honor of having with you is almost a similar kind of conversation that I have with parents.
That are going through
what I am going through.
Right.
So I try my best to be as wholesome as I can, to discuss things beyond what would be a doctor-patient relationship. That's why I say it's coaching and it's not a neurologist seeing a child with ADHD or seeing a child with epilepsy or seeing a child with autism. It goes beyond that, because we address things that are medical with so much dignity and so much depth as we would something that is social. And I think for a lot of people who took a chance on me, not knowing how deep those coachings will go, they will be the first to acknowledge that when I am there with them, coaching them, that is all I am. I am less of a doctor, but more of a mother to an
Yeah.
autistic child.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we speak about the things that are not spoken about during the doctor-patient relationship,
Right.
like discussing the fear that comes with being a parent to a child with special needs. And the most difficult question is, what do you think life looks like on the day that your life ends for this child? So we talk about those kind of things so that we can open the door to things like estate planning.
Yes.
Would you like to choose someone who would be a guardian to your
Right.
child? And what do you want that guardian to be like? Because I think the biggest fear that as parents we have is that when I'm no longer here, who is going to advocate for my child the
Yes,
way I
I do.
advocate for
Exactly.
them?
Exactly.
And how do I make sure that the little that I leave behind for her is not going to be taken by the vultures? And how do I ensure that she always has a place to stay? She always has access to healthcare. She's always loved and accepted the way I foster it to happen when I am alive. And because you experience so much difficulty within this system, that is what gives birth to this fear.
Right. Right.
So because I've gone through a process where I was very blessed to have a good support system.
Yes.
And I realize as I meet parents that not everyone is privy to this support. I formed the Dr. Mmako Mkonza Foundation to be that person in the gap.
To create that support
To create
that you
support
had, which other people
that
don't
I
have.
So I wanted to duplicate that, and obviously it would be to a larger scale for the other parents. Things are very expensive, and it's not everyone who can have this level of affordability that I have. So
To take their children to that boarding school.
to take
and
the
afford
child
them.
to
Yeah.
that boarding school. And for a lot of parents, what pains me the most is that day when the child is diagnosed signaled the end of this
their lives.
parent's life. It signaled the end to their dreams. They stopped being ambitious. They stopped feeling like they deserve to be happy. And their entire life is absorbed by this thing. And in addition to that, they still have to struggle through the tough road of actually having the child diagnosed. The tough road of realizing that our government doesn't have enough of schools for every kind of disability.
Especially those that are in the public space where people can't
Yes.
afford to take them
Where
to private schools.
people cannot afford, the private schools, because the private schools are very expensive, because you can imagine that also it's a professional person who is running a business, who has to run it like a business in order for it to be sustainable.
Yes.
And then opposite to that, you have government schools that are also under-resourced, and they have teachers who are stretched to the limits of what they can handle themselves. And they have people who are not even given the correct amount of training for the different kinds of ways that are available to support these families. And then we reach that point that is very least spoken about, to say, what happens when the child is 18? Because the school will say he is too old for school.
Oh,
And-
you mean which school now? The normal school or the school?
Even the school
where
that
you
is
would have-
private,
Yeah, the school where you've taken them.
Yes.
Or that special school.
that special
Oh, the
school,
special school. Okay.
at 18,
Yeah.
also the child
That's
the
it.
child is old.
Okay, so you
And
must
then
take them back
and
in.
then for this parent, the question is, then what?
Then what do I do?
Then what do I do? And I will answer that question for you and tell you that most of the time those children are taken back into the home on a full-time basis,
Yes.
and they do nothing because there is not enough time in these 18 years for them to have learned a skill that would make them survive. Because even a normal child, after they pass matric, how many of them are ready for the job market?
They are not ready. They're not even ready to choose what it is that they want
They
to
are
study.
they are not ready for anything.
Yes.
And now you are taking this child who already had so many obstacles, and you expect the parent to know what must happen at that age of 18, which is very sad,
Right.
because then they just become that person who just stays at home and does nothing.
So now I've got a bit of clarity on the practice, public hospital, private hospital, in terms of how you show up there. You've shared how you show up at your practice. You it's the outpatient, but also you use that platform for coaching the families. What is the dream then for the foundation?
The dream for the foundation, I would say, is twofold. Fold one is to take this autistic person into an environment where they are able to explore ways of sustaining themselves in a controlled environment. So a skills development kind of opportunity
Okay.
for young adults with autism.
That will take care of the 18 years as well.
That will take care of the 18 and above.
Yeah.
And working with the lower levels of education to already start introducing the skills development portfolio into this lower level of education, so that by the time the child comes to this skills development as an 18-year-old, it is not something new
Yeah.
that they have never seen before.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever the skill may be, it might be that this child loves music like my own daughter.
Yeah.
Then we can teach them about music at school, and such that when they are now at that 18, we can have programs where they can actually do music for a living.
Okay.
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 And then that child who cannot identify a particular talent or doesn't have enough intellectual capacity to develop a skill that is that high level, then that child will be taught life skills.
Right.
And we all have to eat. Somebody has to plant the potato. We all
Water the
need to
garden.
dress.
Yeah. Right.
Somebody needs to know how to be they don't have to be the designer,
Yeah.
but they can work in textile in a controlled environment
Environment.
where they know that every day when I come here,
This
I
is
do
what
the
I do.
exact
Because they are
same
good
thing.
with routine.
Because they are very good at routine.
Oh.
So we
Okay.
don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We can work with whatever level that they are at. So whether it's taking care of animals, we know now that animal therapy I know did the world's good for my child.
Yes.
And I know of many other autistic adults whose primary work of every day is to take care of a certain type of animal.
Right.
And that might be a cow, it might be a horse, whatever it is, but they are contributing positively to the society in which they live.
Yeah.
And I think that every person can do something. So for me, I am doing it because I know that I am a mother to an autistic person and I have those questions about my own child. And
so you're almost like creating a space where another mother who has less access to resources can
at
have
least
the answers,
get the answer
through that's the
Yes.
foundation. It's just going to,
because it's very painful when I'm in the public sector and I realize that mom cannot work because she has to be at home every day
to take
with
care
this
of
baby.
Yes.
And the government tries, but we have to meet the government somewhere. The government tries by making it possible for the families to receive social grants and support from social workers, food parcels, and that kind of a thing. But what is the future looking like for this child? At the end of mom's life, remember, mom is going to SASSA to collect the grant.
Yes.
They know what to do with the grant
Yes.
in order to
Yes.
ensure a certain level of survival
Right.
for the child. What happens when mom is
It's
not
no longer there.
Who advocates? And what has the child learned?
So that's
that
the
is
gap
the gap that the foundation wants to
close,
fill.
yeah.
To say that somebody must be watching out for these families.
Yes.
To say, when we realize that in that family the parent has now passed away, we should have, as a foundation, decided on what would be the best thing for this person's life. Where do they receive care? Who advocates for them? How do they get the health care that they deserve? That kind of a thing. So that is the big dream for the foundation. And I started this foundation last year, but I have been doing the work of this foundation in my personal capacity for a very long time.
Okay, so now you're just putting structure around it.
So now I want to put structure around it, that there will be a parent who will call me and say, hey, how did you manage to potty train your child? I'm not able to.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not even about affordability. Some people can afford, but they don't know how to find the correct
the right
help.
answers.
They don't know how to find it's so painful to hear a mother saying, I can do anything. Even if I don't have the money, I will find it. Just as long as I can get the right person to do this for my child.
Wow.
So I have been that person who a parent can call me. People give out my numbers to their friends, to strangers that they meet, to say, hey, I don't know how to help you, but here is Dr. Mmako's number. Call her and I'm sure she will have an answer for you.
Yes.
And I provided those answers with all my heart and with all the might that I have. Sometimes if I don't have the answer, I will go out and look for it so that I can give it to this mom.
I want to read something for you, which I call the labor of love. So I'm reading so that I will not lose this good English and the meaning thereof. It says, a labor of love is something you do not for money, not for reward, not for recognition, but because you deeply care about it. Its work is driven by passion, by purpose, by commitment, and by emotional connection.
Yes.
So it is work done with care and dedication, even when it is difficult and not rewarding.
Yes.
We've looked at all the things that you do, and I don't want to define them because there's another definition I have, but for now, in terms of looking at this labor of love, where it also says a labor of love is building something when no one sees. You said you only did started the foundation last year, but you've been doing the work for a very long time. Labor of love is carrying responsibility without applause.
Yes.
It is nurturing people, systems, or visions because it does matter. And it is continuing when it costs you even emotionally. It's just not easy work, but it is labor of love nonetheless. So from the things that you've listed, which one for you is labor of love?
I think the work of the foundation is a labor of love in its fullest form. Because I am not doing that work so that anyone can stand somewhere and clap hands for me.
Yeah.
I am doing it because it gives purpose to my pain.
It gives purpose to your pain.
Yes. Because
Sure.
I experience this pain and I don't want any other mother to walk that journey without somebody holding their hand. I don't promise that it's not going to be painful. No. Because the designs of it is that it's painful. Because we are human beings and we have emotions.
Emotions, yeah.
But all I am saying is that a burden shared is a burden halved. So if that mother doesn't have to go to 10 doctors in order to finally get a diagnosis, if this mother doesn't struggle to get speech therapy, occupational therapy, if this mother doesn't struggle to find a school, and I'm listing these struggles in this order because those are the struggles
That
I
you
went through.
Yes.
So I went through them so that they can walk lighter.
That's a pioneer.
I want them to walk lighter.
lighter.
It is my passion for them to walk lighter. I do not want another mother to go down into the pits of depression before they can see the light. I know that probably some of them will see the light even if I wasn't there, and some of them might never see the light. But it is important to me for my journey to not be a singular experience. I want it to work better for the next person.
You're saying it gives purpose to your pain, but the more I'm listening to, priding myself that I'm a purpose architect, is that not the purpose itself?
I think it depends on how you look at it. Yes, but it is the purpose itself. But we are going back to that Napoleon Hill's quote that you said, that adversity will give birth to something greater.
Yeah, okay, right. So it's probably a manifestation of purpose that was, that partly was clarified or defined through pain that one experienced. The thing about life, which is a guarantee, is that we all have our fair share. But what we are learning from you is, how do I extract that benefit? Or how do I identify that there's a seed of that benefit and extract it and actually put it into life? Put it into life. That is life-changing. Now we've identified the labor of love. I want to go back to the difference between private hospital and public hospital. Are you, as doctors, obligated to go to public hospitals?
No, we are not.
Because I suppose private hospitals
Because
pay you better.
Because there is a level in medicine where you are said to be independent. So once I specialized, my certificate says I am an independent specialist neurologist. So how you access that independence is that it gives you the ability to choose where you want to work.
And you
So-
you decided to still choose.
I
the
decided
public
to
sector.
still choose the public sector, and I decided to still choose the private sector as well. Because for me, people are people. Wherever I meet them, they remain people.
So,
I mean, there are many instances where I meet people at spa and I still give them medical advice. I still render assistance to them if they need it. I can be in a restaurant sitting and enjoying a nice meal, and a person will walk up to me and say, "Oh, doctor, I wanted to ask 1, 2, 3 that I didn't ask when I saw you the last time." And I would still engage them.
yeah.
So that is the reason why I say, for me, medicine is purpose more than benefit. Of course, I benefit from it because I'm able to make a living from it, but it is more purpose than it is benefit. And I am glad that I can actually make a living
From your
fulfilling my purpose.
purpose. Yeah. I will get us to hear that purpose in full, and me, I would definitely do that. There's something I want us to experience through your words.
Yes.
Because you are a good storyteller. You take us there.
Yes.
Your work as a doctor, private, public, in your practice, where you have to show your medical experience, your medical expertise. There are people that do work to get paid or to get to bill. You guys would bill the medical aid and so on. Can you take us into a day in the life of Dr. Tracy, who has this patient that requires more than the doctor's expertise to get a particular result? I want us to experience you as a doctor. What makes you a good one?
What I think makes me a good doctor is that I have had the experience of being on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
On this side of the table where I am the doctor, I have the power of saying whatever that I want to say. And that power might be guided by the knowledge that I have amassed through the years of studying, or the experiences that I've had with other patients. But the thing that makes me take it with so much grace is that I have been on the other side of the table, and I have had bad news delivered to me in a particular way. And that makes me conscious of the words that I speak.
How you deliver messages to
and
parents.
I understand the power of words. So you can imagine that it is possible to deliver a message to someone, and how that message lands takes away hope, takes,
Yes.
and really, really cuts deep.
Yes.
So it takes a special kind of person to be able to deliver a message that is not so nice in such a way that it doesn't destroy the person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is quite important to me. I want people to live my presence, thinking that, okay, although I hear that this diagnosis is not good, but I have hope for tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That for as long as I am still alive, something good is coming out of my life. I really believe that. Because it's easy to make it all business.
Yeah.
Yeah, you deliver a service, you charge for it, and that's the end of the day.
Next.
Next. But for me, I value the level of connections that I make with the people that I meet. And this kind of thing I have built over the years of struggling to get to one place to another with my own child. So I realized that sometimes people come to the consulting room for a different reason than to receive a diagnosis.
Yes.
Some people come there and leave having been impacted in a way that you cannot believe.
Yeah.
And some people come there because they need just someone to give them that encouragement that this is possible.
You said previously that even if, when you were going through the therapist, the speech therapist, even if doctors didn't, there was a word that I used, and you said all you needed was a therapist that will at least, I said you wanted a therapist that will agree with what you see, and you said not even agree, but at least to understand what it is that I'm looking for.
Exactly.
So I suppose,
and to not find fault with it,
and not to find fault
and
with it,
to not view me as being in denial.
You know, there's I want to say this: you have been born for such a time as this.
Yes,
you have been born for this thing.
Yes.
I'm saying, and you, like I said, you identified the seed and you tapped into it, and we are benefiting, and people are still going to benefit because the foundation is still at its infancy and it's still going to grow. I want to just ask, still on that question that I had, that what makes a doctor a doctor, what makes the great great. Have you had situations as a doctor where you have done everything that you can to a patient and everything that is available medically, and there's nothing else you can do, but you did something else over and above that?
Yes, I often meet patients who, I'll give you an example with a 16-year-old boy that I met in the hospital. He came because he suddenly lost his ability to walk. And at that time, the parents were like, he was walking yesterday, and this young man was so distraught because he is actually quite a good sports player, So losing your ability to walk when you are a sports person probably would be quite a crushing thing, right? And we do what we do as doctors, and we look for the cause and we treat the cause and all that. And I still found that this young man, even though everything that was making it difficult for him to walk had been eliminated,
he still couldn't walk.
He still couldn't walk, And I remember joking with him that, I must go to your school and find your crush and, come and put her here. I'm sure she can motivate you to walk, because what do you mean? You mean you can't even go after her, And we said it in such a joking manner because of course he's 16, you know, I look at him and I see my own child. And I embodied that belief that I had in my own child, that no, they're saying you can't speak, but if it is the last thing I do, I will have you speaking.
Yes.
So this same thing that I spoke to my own child, I spoke to him. I said, if you can just do me one favor, don't do any other thing. Do me a favor and believe that you can walk. You might think it's something out there in the universe, but I said to him, listen, you have to believe that you can walk. Because a person who believes and a person who doesn't believe, both of them are right.
Yes. You just make a choice.
You just have to make a choice. And before I could think about, you know, send him to a rehabilitation center, call the best physiotherapist that there is, I decided to first start dealing with the way that he thought about himself.
Wow.
And that is not what neurology is about. Just to make it clear, neurology is not about that. We don't get paid for that kind of a thing.
Yes.
But I said to him, listen, there is nothing that is structurally wrong anymore that makes you to not be able to walk.
Yeah.
Everything is sitting in order. All you have to do is believe that you can do it. And I promise you that I will give you as much as you give me. If you can give me 100% belief that you can walk, I will also give you 100% of my effort to support you in your quest of walking. And I don't take it for granted that that is not what a normal neurologist does.
Yes.
I don't take it for granted.
Yes.
That's not what normal neurologists do.
Right.
And I don't judge them for it, neither do I judge myself for it. I just believe that I am living my purpose to its fullness.
Yes.
I am living my purpose to its fullness. And I hold on to my patients. I remember a young gentleman who is a physiotherapist. One day he walked into the ward and found me walking my own patient. And he said to me, Doc, I've never seen a doctor do their own physiotherapy. I said, oh my, don't worry, this is not physiotherapy, this is motherhood. I'm not by any means taking your job.
Oh my God.
I'm not by any means taking your job. And the fact that you find me walking with him doesn't mean you mustn't come and give him the physiotherapy that he deserves.
Yes.
I am walking with him because I am trying to show him that it is not useless to believe.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And that young man is walking.
He's walking today.
He is back to playing his sports. So it is important that even though we can see the darkness that is neurological illnesses. I mean, neurological illnesses, I always say, are probably only second to cancer in how much devastation they can bring.
Yes.
So working there every day, I have taught myself to not be consumed by the darkness of what is this diagnosis.
So when you see the diagnosis, you go out of your way to see what light you can put as you're going to deliver the
I like to believe that I'm the deliverer of silver linings.
Wow. And
every single day.
Yes. And you've seen it heal people.
And I've seen it heal people. And I've seen parents of, being the only neurologist in Mpumalanga comes with a different set of problems for me as an adult neurologist, because here in our country, pediatric neurology is a specialist for pediatricians.
Yes.
It's a higher level of specialty for a normal pediatrician, for them to be able to treat babies with neurological problems.
Yeah.
But because in Mpumalanga, I'm the only neurologist that is there, there is not a pediatric neurologist yet. So I always find myself in a situation where the pediatrician would ask me to assist them with a particular child. Even though I always say to the people at my practice, please don't book me children unless they are older than 12. But going to Mpumalanga has taught me to give a little bit more grace, because I see them at 6, I see them at 8, I see them at 9, and the list goes on. And sometimes a very, very small child, like a 3-year-old that I've seen recently, and you find parents there at their lowest.
Yes.
Where the child is very, very sick and they are in the process of losing their hope. You know, I remember seeing a 3-year-old who had a severe infection and lost consciousness and was now in ICU. And, you know, the grandmother and the mother, after all things had been said and done, they did something so much out of the ordinary. They said to me, "Doctor, it's looking very bad, but can you pray with us?"
Oof. And that's not what you studied.
I don't know of a lot of doctors who would be comfortable to pray with patients on the bedside. And I said to them, please pray with your mouths and I'm going to support you. And the mother said, I can't. And I realized that, you know what? She truly can't. Because there are certain moments in our lives where the prayers must come from other people.
Yes, true.
Because we are just too heavy at that time.
True.
So I, forgot about all the things that are supposed to be done in terms of walking the journey of being a good neurologist. And I just became a normal human being.
Prayer.
And I prayed for them.
Yes.
So that they can pray that prayer of agreement with me.
Yes.
Because we need to agree in order for things to happen. And God being so gracious, their child came out of that situation being well, and they went home.
Wow.
And we have to acknowledge that sometimes this answer that we are looking for is not the answer for every sick person.
Yes.
Because some people, things just happen despite our biggest belief. But
Yes.
the one thing that I do not ever want to be a part of is participating in taking away hope. I never want to
And you use
participate.
words to instill that hope.
Yes.
I'm also going to read, I've got all my... I'm also going to read about words because we have this thing that, we say spelling when you write, it's a spelling, and then we talk about casting a spell. I don't know if people are able to put the two together, that the casting a spell and spelling and words are it's
come
the same
from
family.
the same family.
So words as a spell means the words we speak and repeat shape what we believe. And what we believe shapes what we become.
Yes.
And I'm underlining the word believe because it almost, what you are bringing here is making me understand that most of us go to church. We go to church to get empowered. When we go through problems, we phone the pastor that gives us words of encouragement and all of that. But when that family of that 3-year-old are there in hospital with the report and the physical evidence of things not going right, you then become their pastor. I don't know whichever word I want to use, but you become their person that brings and instill that belief and that faith for them to stand in there. So they don't have time to phone pastor and they don't have time to explain it's too heavy, it's this and
Exactly.
that. So, and you've made another choice here to stand in that and say, okay, this is beyond what I've studied, but let me now take the position of being the woman of God that I've called So when I said you were born for such a time as this, you do know that that's what Esther was born
Yes.
for, which I think I'm just throwing it out there.
Yes.
So the word spell inside spelling, it is to spell something, to spell something is to form it with letters.
Yes.
To cast a spell is to create an outcome through repetitive words,
Yes.
through words. So when we speak, especially repeatedly, we are reinforcing thoughts. So you said you want to, give them the hope and the
Yes.
thoughts of hope, shaping identity, directing behavior, and influencing reality.
Yes.
And that for me is who you are, born for such a time as this to do that. And thank you once again for respecting that space, because you have a choice of saying no, just like you had a choice of saying, I don't want to be in the public hospital.
Yes.
I also believe that being in the public hospital for me is another form of labor of love that you
Yes.
are that you are giving. And so now we've experienced you. What I am taking out of this is that as a doctor, you've got all the knowledge and you experience, and you've got the passion, like we have spoken about, that labor of love. But there is another dependency that you have and you bring into play when all that needs to be done is done and all that needs to be said is said. You bring in the power of belief,
Yes.
the power of God, the healing power of God into that. And clearly from what you've said, there's been evidence that people have experienced and evidence. I'm sure you also surprised yourself. You didn't know that you were ministering.
No, I didn't know. And for the better part of my life, I spent time denying that I'm ministering.
It is a ministry, and you've stepped right into it. You've really stepped right into it. We've gone through Dr. Tracy at the practice, public hospital, private hospital, and Dr. Tracy as a doctor that knows when God must step in. Not to say that God is out at any given point, but
Yes.
where there's an intentionality in doing that. You really have outlined very clearly what the foundation is going to be about. And from what I could understand, this is not going to be a virtual foundation, like now we've got virtual meetings and virtual offices and all of that. This is not going to be a virtual foundation. It looks like it's going to be something
Work on the ground.
physical, a place that people can go to with the
Yes.
physical address, and with working with physical individuals, as you have explained. So we've done all of that. We've also spoken about the practice, the book.
Yes.
Talk to us about the book that is launching on the 10th of May, 2026.
Yes. Unspoken yet remembered.
That's the title.
So that is the title of my book. It is a memoir that takes everyone through the intentional journey that I went through to become a mother.
Yes.
And I don't know which I would say came before the other, but I believe that I went through a lot to eventually end up with the title of mom. And I think that I needed to be a doctor before I could be a mother, so that I can embody motherhood the way I have embodied it.
Yes.
So I don't think any of the two is more important than the other. I just think they have to exist together in that way.
Yes.
So in that book, I profile my journey of motherhood.
And that book is going to be available from the 10th of May. So we are having a big launch, and I'm part of it.
Yes.
So I'll proudly say I wrote the foreword of that book, and I'm proud of the fact that we'll be launching it on the 10th of May, also celebrating the launch of the foundation, which I was also very proud of.
Yes.
And I am very much looking forward to that work, because it then will go beyond the places that you can physically reach, or
Yes.
reach with your voice, or reach with your service.
Yes.
So putting that in place, I want to go back. Earlier on, I asked you, I said, from everything that you've done, which one do you think is labor of love?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to read the definition of the word legacy.
Yes.
Legacy is what remains of you after your work, after your words, and after your presence has passed.
Yes.
It is not just what you leave behind, but legacy is what continues because you existed.
Yes.
That's the definition. Legacy is the impact you have on people, the values that you transfer, the systems that you build, the thinking patterns that you instill, the lives that changes because of you.
Yes.
We've now added the book in all your benefits.
Yes.
You know, we said adversity comes with the seed of benefits, and not all of it was born from adversity. Which one of these is your legacy? Up to this point, I know you're still going to do a lot a day after this.
I would like for the foundation to continue, because I believe that would be my biggest legacy. And legacy number one is probably the children that I would leave behind. And there is me saying to God, I can do the best that I can, and you will do the rest. So I am hopeful that I will raise adults who will understand the work that I do and be able to carry it in their own way after my time has passed. And legacy number 3 is that books tend to outlive us all.
Yes.
So the most well-bought book is the Bible. And we continue to buy the Bible and read it many, many years after it was written.
Yes.
So I believe that I will leave a legacy of written knowledge in the world when my time has come. So that is my understanding of legacy. And I think for every life that I have touched positively, whether is a doctor who I work with and I teach them, or it's a mother to a parent, to a child who is sick for whatever reason, or it's this person that I have impacted positively when we met because I was treating them for something.
Yes.
I believe that all those people give me this legacy. Yeah. So for that child who didn't believe they could do it, and I spoke life into their dreams,
Yes.
those people become my legacy. And I'm hoping that they will also pay it forward, because I do not have the illusion of thinking that I can touch everybody.
Yes.
But once I touch person one has the ability to touch another person, and so the cycle gets bigger.
Absolutely. This book, give us the title again.
Unspoken yet remembered.
Right. Well, that's a very, that's a title.
Yes.
It's a memoir.
Yes.
Right, that you wrote. I did hear when you spoke of your legacy, you said books.
Yes.
So there's an S, that means this is the first of many.
Of many.
Is it in your radar to write anything and give back to the medical profession?
that is actually a very important thing for me to do, because I do not have the belief that there must be only one Dr. Tracy. I believe that it is important for all of us to contribute to the progress of people like us. So that this is my retirement plan, right? Because I do not want to retire and still leave Mpumalanga without a neurologist.
Yeah.
So by the time I retire, I want Mpumalanga to have more than me. So it is important for me that I make that kind of contribution. So that contribution is in terms of being able to teach other doctors how to do what I do.
Yes.
That is number one. And number two, to encourage the youngsters that haven't even tasted what medicine is like, to create an environment that is less toxic for them, in a manner of speaking, so that they can learn better. I don't believe that the people that must be neurologists after me have to go through so much trauma to become one.
Yes.
So I want to contribute in that manner. And also I want to contribute in terms of new knowledge to the craft that is medicine, and in specific neurology. So therefore, I'm looking at various, research projects, working with other colleagues to a common goal, so that we can be able to write things. Insofar as South Africa is concerned, the majority of the time we are reading things that are done in other countries. And now is the time where South African professionals are emerging in saying, I also can write something that can be read by people in South Africa and also by people overseas.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is my aim with this part of contributing to the medical field in general. So I don't want to retire and still have the title only neurologist in Mpumalanga. That doesn't give me joy as such. So I want that by the time I retire, I would have given the baton to another person who would do this neurology the way that it is supposed to be done, caring so much about the people that we serve.
That sounds to me like another legacy project.
Yes.
Have you started doing anything around that?
I am doing things, even if it is still on a smaller scale. I am teaching a lot of people, and they may.
How do you do that?
I have online meetings with doctors in Mpumalanga. I want to teach them that they, in a way, a little bit more selfish also for myself. Because being the only neurologist, it means that there must be other people who know how to do this neurology well, because you cannot have the idea that you will be able to touch every patient who has a neurological problem. So I'm teaching my junior doctors that I meet that are, at least for now, in the main, in that part of Mpumalanga, but that doesn't mean that that kind of knowledge cannot be extended elsewhere. I also speak at different, continuous professional development seminars where I teach about neurology to people at different levels in the healthcare system. And I do that even outside. I mean, for me, if you call me to a church or a company or whatever, I don't necessarily choose. I just believe that knowledge is power for everyone.
Right.
So you don't know who knows who, because you might teach at a certain seminar that is even outside of the healthcare system and teach there, and be able to reach someone who can make a positive impact in another person's life. Even if it is just to lessen the stigma that communities have against certain diseases, that is still work.
Right. I actually just remembered something, that the body of work that you are doing has been recognized nationally last year. You won an award. I think you can tell us a bit about. Congratulations before you start.
Thank you so much.
Tell us a bit about what you were recognized for.
I received the African Health Excellence Award as the healthcare professional who does the most in terms of philanthropic work. So I wasn't even recognized in terms of, teaching doctors or being the best doctor in that situation, but I was recognized more as more of a philanthropist for the work that I do through my foundation and the lengths that I've gone to in terms of raising awareness for neurodiversity and supporting families outside the work that I do as a neurologist at all the different places that we've mentioned.
We are getting towards the conclusion of this rich journey of yours. I did mention that on the 10th there's a launch of the book. The book will be available for sale. We'll make it also available on our platform at www.thinkgrowrich.africa for people to access it and buy it. Then the legacy life has started when we do that. And also just to take the foundation to the second year. Your availability to teaching at schools, at organizations, companies, corporates, you've already expressed that. And we're looking forward to you multiplying yourself. I do want to also say that I know and I don't know by the time people listen to this at what point we would be in terms of, because we've got the journey of these stories that we are telling, but I know that the launch will be streamed live. That people can access it, so they can learn more about what's in the book, and the book will be available. And the 10th of May will have a streamed day for people to join in and celebrate the launch of the book. That will be communicated, I think, on your platforms. But we'll also communicate those on our platform as well at Think and Grow Rich Africa. The last thing that I want to do, where I now show up, because I want to grab something here behind me. I hope the camera is catching me. I want to grab something. I kept this as a copy for some reason, because now I want to, it's a point of disclosure. I'm disclosing that I am Dr. Tracy's coach. And we've gone through a journey, a beautiful journey of many years, and we crafted her definite major purpose, without which Napoleon Hill says there won't be any personal achievement. So for some reason, I've got your definite major purpose as you have it. And we've been through this journey, and it's been an honor for me to be your coach and continue to be one as you have expressed what your purpose is. So I'm going to give it to you so that you can read it, but also tell us how you discovered it. Go ahead.
The question is, did I discover it or did it discover me?
It discovered you, actually.
Yes, as I said, what you seek is seeking you.
Right, yeah.
Yes. So my purpose is to heal and empower individuals and families by translating medical science into understanding, dignity, and choice enabling people to actively participate in their own healing and life decisions. I use medicine and writing together, healing the body through science and strengthening the mind and spirit through storytelling. Standing at the intersection of medical science and everyday life, I serve medical professionals seeking grounded understanding and families navigating health challenges who need truth delivered to them with empathy, not fear. Through education, advocacy, and storytelling, I create resources that demystify health, restore confidence, and transform knowledge into healing, resilience, and hope.
You can hold on to that. I'll take this book cover as it shows. So So I'm a very proud coach.
Yes, you are.
to have walked the journey. I must say these are not easy journeys.
Yes.
Like Dr. Tracy says, it's almost like you don't discover your purpose, but it discovers you because it's been there.
Yes.
You were born with it. It is your why. Why do you exist? It's not your vision. It's not your mission. It's not your goals, your resolutions, all the things, the good things that we have. They are good, by the way, but they have to be grounded in why you are created. This mic is created for its purpose, and even if it looks like something I can use maybe when I cook, but it's not created for that. Yes. Its shape can actually fit that purpose, but it's definitely not created for that. And the challenge is, do you know your why? Do you know what you were created for? The reason for existence, just like you have gone through this journey of these conversations with Dr. Tracy, and you've seen what shapes the manifestation. I won't say God has to take you through all those challenges for you to discover your purpose. Your purpose is there the time you are born. But there are different things that open our eyes to that purpose and that sharpen us for that purpose and that cooks us for that purpose, marinates us for that purpose, prepares us for that purpose. And they're a mixture of the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between, all of it. Like the Bible would say that everything works out for good to all that love him and those that are called according to his purpose. So everything has worked out for good, and I'm grateful to have been part of this journey and to be doing. Doesn't mean that for everybody that I coach I would do a podcast, but to be able to do this podcast and looking forward to the launch of the book, which is chapter 2. For me, the legacy is starts with the foundation. The book is chapter 2, and many more legacies. We've got your legacies with the children. I'll pass that and take the other one.
Yes.
So I don't disregard it, but I guess I'm adding on that one as the foundation that can never change or be shaken. It remains. So that is the work of Think and Grow Rich Africa. As we close, I know when we started the journey of defining this purpose, there were all sorts of things that you had as your purpose for us to come here. Maybe just in a very quick, simple way, how that journey what it has taught you in really discovering why you are.
I think there were a lot of things that I thought purpose meant. There were a lot of times where I told you my purpose, and instead you said to me, no, that's a goal. It's not a purpose. And then I would say something else, and you say, no, that's a vehicle, not a purpose. So it was quite an interesting journey. But I was very glad to discover that even though I couldn't define the purpose, I was still blessed enough to have the opportunity to live it until such a time that I could define it in words.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that is just God. That even when we don't hear him, it doesn't mean that he is not talking.
Yes.
Even when we don't feel him, it doesn't mean that he is not there.
Right.
So I believe I was able to go through this journey like this because he was always walking with me. And he made it possible for me to meet the right people at the right time.
Exactly.
And I think he knew that at this point in my life, I needed the purpose architect to make it more structured for me so that I can grow it to be what it is supposed to be. And I think without structure, you can do, the good that you do so seamlessly. But until you have someone who looks at it and says, but this is how you are supposed to structure it, you might find that the growth thereof is a little bit limited.
Yeah. And then I think what I also appreciate about understanding and knowing, to this level of definition, a definite major purpose, it also gives you the strength to not give up.
Yes.
So when the challenges come, you are not shaken. No, maybe you are shaken because we all have to cry. We go through emotions and all of that, but you are not moved.
You are
or
shaken,
crushed.
but you are not crushed.
Yes.
You are not deterred.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that you lose all your resolve.
Yes.
Because you have the structure.
You have this, and you know that this too shall pass.
Yes.
And you know that you were born for such a time as this, and you are able to actually appreciate those challenges that you go through. There's a book that I read years ago. I love that book. I still have it. Power in Praise by, I think the guy's name is Robert Karathas. I might pronounce it wrong, but The Power of Praise. And the power that is around praising God in all circumstances,
Yes.
And I don't know how many people know that the song It Is Well was written under very painful circumstances and situations. When we say it is well, there's a certain level of position that we, can I say, faith and stubbornness in what and why we are. So understanding and knowing your definite major purpose defines you, makes you not to also invest time on things that are not aligned to your purpose.
Exactly.
And not to go to places that are not aligned to your purpose. Not to build company around yourself that is not aligned to your purpose. So every day you measure everything against that purpose. So that to me is it, right?
Yes.
Definite major purpose, and I live for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that each and every one of us, we are humbled by the fact that even as much as we discover our purposes and we deploy ourselves to them, we understand that that purpose is even bigger than us.
Exactly.
Because you were given to it, it was given to you by God, and He has equipped you for it. In whatever shape or form that purpose comes. But the purpose always remains bigger than your own comfort or your own discomfort.
Exactly.
That you know that it has to have impact on certain people. And when you stop living your purpose, it means those people are then at a disadvantage.
Indeed, because there are people whose lives are waiting for you to step into your purpose so that they can move forward and step into their
theirs.
own purpose. We come to the end of our conversation. Transformation, information, call to action. Pick whichever one that speaks to you. And I know every part of these conversations is going to do something different at different time. And we are all in different seasons. I want to close by a quote that I have. Lerato Sitole's quote that I woke up and I quickly wrote. There are times when you wake up and it's like you're hearing the word of God and that says write down. So I wrote down, and here's the quote that I have, and I know that it's meant for Africans because my calling is for the continent of Africa. Wealth is your birthright. Success is your inheritance, and greatness is in your DNA. And I have been in conversation with greatness as Lerato Sithole. I thank you.